Coach, there's so many different things I'd want to ask you about in this game, but I guess, can you give us a little insight into what it went into calling that appeal? Who was it who saw that the runner missed first base?
Dugout. Go watch the video. There's like 5 guys that were right in line with first base that started pointing right away while the play was still going on. Those guys were super engaged all game long. They've been engaged mentally the entire season. And that's the second time that's happened this year, Brian. We had a pivotal win early in the season. And my credit to those guys. And it's obviously an enormous play in that game.
Did you kind of feel like you needed some karma go on your side? You had the call in the game before with the foul ball off the screen that you tried to get them to overturn and it didn't work. Did it just feel like maybe the breaks weren't going your way and you needed just one?
I don't know about that. I don't think anything last night had anything to do with the game today. That was an unfortunate play. I mean, you got one of the best players in the country at bat, with the tying run on second and no outs. We would have liked that at bat to continue last night for sure. But I think it did change the momentum of the game a little bit today. And, watching the replay, it looks like they got it right.
And what does it just mean to be Pac-12 champs? Obviously, your first team you take to the edge of a national championship, then you miss some tournaments, and then COVID happens, and now you're back with a championship.
It's very meaningful. I think if you've studied Pac-12 baseball history, you know how difficult this accomplishment and this achievement is. And, I'm very proud of the players in the team because, we've, like you said, we're on the cusp of winning a national championship. The next year we were in the top 10 for most of the season. The next year you can't get any closer to being left out of the tournament than we were, and these guys never wavered. A lot of these guys that make up this team, had to deal with that disappointment at the end of the 19 season where we won 13 out of 14 games, finished over 500 in Pac-12 play, and didn't make the NCAA tournament. That was heartbreaking. And then more of a disappointment was last year. I've said this before. I thought we had an Omaha team in 2020. We had some good early season wins. The chemistry of that group was taking shape. And on March 12th, 2020, the message was like, hey, what is happening across the globe right now is out of our control. But where we want to go, what we want to do, all that's changing on that is a delay in when we get there. And I'm proud of those guys. A lot of them returned this year, persevered, through a couple disappointments, last year with the season getting canceled, came back ready and, led us in a big time way. And then just historically, this is significant for our program. This is a great, perennial successful program, but Pac-12 championships and Pac-12 success hasn't always come easy. And so, especially this year with old players, veteran teams, obviously really good coaches, really good pitching staffs, this is a massive deal. And I'm really proud of our team for getting this done.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about the depth. If you look at some of the guys who were integral in the comeback today, Tyler Casagrande, Chase Davis, Kyson Donahue scored the winning run, I believe. Did this game just sort of exemplify that particular strength of your team?
No question about it. And I've said it a lot, and I hesitate to, or I feel bad repeating myself, but we have more than 9 starters. Chase Davis is a superstar, and he's gotten better as the season's gone along and has handled his role the way 5-star athletes coming in big programs don't always handle it, and has showed a ton of maturity and has just kept working, getting better, and been a bigger and bigger part of our success as the season's gone along. There's a bright future here. And that was a professional at bat off a guy that was carving us up pretty good. Jacob Finnigs is one of the best pitchers in the league. Tyler Casagrande, how about that guy? Huge hit against Washington, and that comeback win in the 10th inning. Hits a home run after being put in as a defensive replacement on Friday. And then, has to get the start today and put together, drag bunt for a hit, 3-0. Wanted to make sure we broke up the no-hitter. So good job by Tyler. And then played good defense in the outfield on some tough plays. And then big hit to continue that rally. You mentioned Kyson didn't move his feet. Got hit with that pitch with the left-hander Watkins on a ball running in. Allowed us to get in position to do what we needed to do. And matchup-wise, it was going to get a little bit hairy for us. So, that's not an at-bat that's going to get talked about, but him simply not moving his feet on a running fastball in changed that game for us in the 9th inning today.
To what extent were you aware of the scenario that ended up playing out, and or did you make your team aware of the scenario that ended up playing out with you clinching the tie, if you win and Oregon loses?
Well, not to your surprise, probably, I don't look at the standings very much because it has nothing to do with the actual play on the field. But last night, and I don't know if it was my way of moving past the game, I actually tried to figure it out. Like I was a PE major, so this isn't common for me. And I actually called Brett Gleason. I was like, Brett, make sure I have this right. If we win tomorrow and Oregon loses, Stanford cannot catch us in winning percentage at that point in time. All Oregon can do is tie, and we have the tiebreaker. We're the Pac-12 champs and have the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. And so we kind of bounced it off each other a little bit. And I'm sure there was guys on the team that had figured it out. I hadn't until about 11:30 in my room last night. So I woke Brett up and made sure we had that right. And then I made the team aware of it today. It's pretty simple. We've had this conversation 3 times. Hey, who wants to win the Pac-12 championship? Raise your hand. Okay, every hand goes up. Who wants to go to Omaha? Great, raise your hand. Okay, now let's turn our focus to what we need to do to be the best team we possibly can be and create opportunities like winning a conference championship and such moving forward. And so we talked about it briefly before the day and then had to get to work on it.
Hey, Jay, what would you say to an outsider to help them appreciate how difficult it is to win the Pac-12?
Well, I think if you watch the movie 300 and some of those battle scenes, that's what I would liken it to. And if you need statistics to back that up, this is my 6th year, but it's really only the 5th time in Pac-12 play because of COVID. There's been 5 different champions. And if something doesn't scream parity than that, I don't know what else does. So I think it's a terrific accomplishment. I think it's more meaningful this year because frankly, for every team, it was two years of work for one season. And I'm incredibly proud of that.